Hey everyone, welcome back and welcome to another reading. A couple quick announcements before we get started. First things first, if there will be an extended for this reading, the link will be in the description box below. And I'm realizing as I'm saying that out loud that I said that in the Taurus reading and I never got around to it. So guess it wasn't meant to be. Apologies if you watched the Taurus reading and you were waiting for that extended. By the way, I am going to put timestamps in the description box if you want to skip past this part of the video. But next thing I want to talk about are intentions. Essentially, the way I approach these readings are we ask for information that needs to come out, whatever it is that needs to be known, good or bad, and then we talk about it. We'll talk about it to the end of figuring out how you can work with this energy that you're coming up against, that you're dealing with. And also, if anything in this reading resonates with you or if it helps you in any way, shape, or form, be sure to like the video. You're welcome to subscribe as well. Can't hurt. Both are free. And liking the video will ensure that there's a greater, it increases the likelihood that it'll be seen by someone else that it can help. And subscribing to the channel will mean that you will be notified whenever a new video becomes available. So that being said, we'll get started with the first part of the reading, which is going to be channeled, and we'll pull your cards. Then for the second part, we'll change the camera angle, grab some clarifiers, some oracles, and then talk about the cards a bit more. It is approaching 2 a.m. here on the East Coast. So my teeth are brushed and my retainer is in. If you hear a lisp, that's why. I actually have a dentist appointment tomorrow and I don't want him to yell at me. So wear the retainer. Queen of Wands. So yes, there could be a fire sign who is pretty central. That could be a part of it, right? But this also could be, this could be about self-esteem, and this could be about confidence, couldn't it? For some of you, I feel like there is something that's being reignited within you. And I say reignited because it's almost like it's, the flame didn't go out. The motivation didn't just completely leave you, or maybe it did. Maybe the wind was knocked out of you. But the point is that it's back. It's back, and it's better than ever, and it's stronger than ever. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the movie Howl's Moving Castle. It's an animated movie, but what's coming to mind is the character, I think his name is Calcifer, but Calcifer is actually, he's the flame that keeps the castle going, if I'm remembering it correctly. But there are times in the movie when his flame gets so small and it has this effect on the construct as a whole. I think the castle actually can't move if the flame is not strong enough. So I think that's there's a message in there somewhere for someone. But anyways, when Howl uses that I don't even know what that tool is called, but he stokes the flame, right? So that the flame gets larger and greater and bigger. So what you guys may be doing is you've been nursing that flame. You've been trying to find the motivation again, to find the drive again. Is there someone that is really special to you? Maybe you're waiting for this person, keeping an eye on them from afar. Didn't mean for my tone to change as much as it did then, but I don't know, I just got a bit sad. Yeah, someone here is held in very high esteem. That could be, you might hear my stomach, I am fasting. It's interesting that your read is the one that I'm doing during this time as well. And we were just talking about waiting a moment ago, so delayed gratification is coming to mind. Something is within your reach, something is there, you can have it, but maybe you're not allowing yourself to. I just heard guilty. Yeah. Just realized I was kind of covering that. Throwing yourself into your work to distract yourself is, if that's what you've been doing, is not a method that has been working. It's not a method that's going to work any longer. Maybe you hate your job, so you can't really escape in that way. And you have no choice but to face those feelings that you've been running from. Or if it's not that you've been running from them, you just haven't been acknowledging them. So what I want to know is what is becoming of this? The things that we are apprehensive to diagnose, the things that we don't prioritize, the people we don't prioritize, the demons that we don't slay. What happens when you have a lot of time on your hands and that's what you have to focus on? Do you just bury your head into your hands and you don't need my pity? And that's not what this is. I feel like you don't need anyone's sympathy. And you might be surrounded by some people who it's like that's what they want to give you. But don't punish them for caring. Their hearts are in the right place. But you have to do something about this pain. And I just feel like in the past, you know, the long game is something that you're not opposed to. If the outcome that you want is on the other side of that, that would make waiting for it worth it. But I think that one of the things that's excruciating is that you know, the ball is really in your court here, and it really is what you choose to do. And I think that you don't have a lot of control or a lot of say in how this game ends. And I'm using game as kind of a catch-all word here because well, how else would you describe it if you don't really need to diagnose how you feel? You know how you feel, you know what you need, but you maybe choose to hide it, or you choose to hide behind it. I'm being told to tell you to let people see you. That card is gone, just as I said that. Hold on. Okay. Queen of Swords. Yeah. Let people see you, indeed. The real you. The whole you. Nothing but you. I think that that's all that's going to work right now. You are going to have to get embrace your emotions, embrace your feelings. Pema Chodron says, you know, one of the keys, what's going to help you when you're dealing with difficult times is that you don't run from the feeling. You sit with the feeling as if it were next to you. You go on a walk with the feeling. You get to know the feeling. It is it's a part of your life. It's not going to help you to ignore it, and you take all of those steps to figure out how to live with it, because I don't think that this is something that's going to go away. In fact, it's like if you embrace it, then it opens up the door to so many possibilities. It opens up the door to that version of yourself that is stronger. But it's not so simple as just being stronger. It's a version of yourself that is more aware. It's a version of yourself that is healed. That's really what we're talking about here. It's a version of yourself that is whole. I hope that this is making sense. It makes sense to me. You know, you're only human. You can't control every little detail. You're not Superman, you know. You could be watching Spider-Man. No. Go on one more. And we needed two, it seems. I know. Those things in your past that were so good, that are so good, you'll never stop wanting them, especially if it was rewarding, especially if it was fulfilling. And what I don't want you to do is try to manipulate your way into getting something back, or to employ these methods that are barbaric or rudimentary, or just when all you really need to do is be vulnerable. The truth is, there are some things that are not going to go back to how they were. There's too much water under the bridge. However, the benefit to going through this process, for those of you who can't get something back, is that you heal, and you heal properly. And that's no small thing. For one, you'll sleep a bit easier, and you'll learn a thing or two about valuation. How to value things while they're in your life. And that seems to me like something that's a lesson that could pave the way for a life that is filled with gratitude. And that's always a good thing. So I'm gonna change the camera angle. We'll pull those clarifiers and talk about these more. Hold on. Okay, here are your cards, and I hope now that you can see them all laid out like this, some of what I was saying in the first part of the read makes a bit more sense. But let's pull your clarifiers, and then we're going to talk about all that's here, and we're going to start with... Wow, ouch. Okay, we're going to start with 2 cards from the Angel Tarot. I know. It's not as bad as it looks. Man. Okay, 7 of Swords, 5 of Swords. You know, as I said that it's not as bad as it looks, I felt like that was a bit irresponsible to say. You know, I don't know the ins and outs of exactly what you're dealing with, but this looks hard. This looks hard, so I don't want to minimize your experience. I don't want to make it seem like this is not serious, because for many of you, you are dealing with something very serious here. We're gonna get 1 or 2 from, this is the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. Risk, independence. So July 4th could be important in some way, shape, or form. we're going to talk about these first. And, if any of these particular cards stand out to you, this may be further confirmation that this reading is meant for you. And then I'll try to grasp what's really happening here. Okay. Capricorn. I'll put these down here. Petty. The number 3. The letters Y and Z. X. Isolation. The letters V, W, and X. Blue eyes. The number 1. No. Ghost. New love. East. I am not a mind reader. So someone's name could start with Y, Z, V, W, or X. Doesn't necessarily have to be a name. This could also be a location. Could have something to do with your ex in some way, shape, or form, or an old relationship. It is something that we were kind of picking up on in the first part of the read, and I'm looking at that 3 of Swords there in the top left, and the 2 of Cups here in reversed. Hearing a love was lost, and something else was found. All right, let's talk about what's here, and we'll just take it one card at a time. So, starting with the Queen of Wands there in the top left corner, and this screams to me a crisis of confidence. Has something to do with someone's position, their financial position, the amount of security that they feel that maybe comes from finances, that comes from how they're living, that comes from what they have, that comes from who they know, maybe what who they have in their lives. And there's some type of position that someone has held. And I'm saying someone because, yeah, this could be you, but it could also be about someone else. It's reading like you, if I'm being entirely honest. So what I'm talking about is a feeling of complacency, or a feeling of satisfaction with where you are in life, and not feeling like there's like you really need to do much. But it's like, I say a feeling of complacency because that's not really how it is. I think that you know better. I think that you know that things, you know that something needs to be made right here. You know that something needs to be done differently, and it's a feeling that is very pervasive. These are thoughts that are very pervasive. You can't escape them. You can't ignore them. And try as you might to distract yourself, which is why I don't think that you really need me or anyone else to give you sympathy or give their 2 cents on the situation. That that something needs to be corrected, something needs to be done here, but there is this overwhelming feeling of fear also, that there's going to be some kind of falling out, that it's going to take a toll on your relationship maybe, or that you're going to lose some friends along the way, or that people are going to look at you differently once they find out. Something has not been working for a very long time. And, I just really want you to look at yourself and really look at your life. And, I'm not here to judge you, and I'm sorry if that's the way that it's sounding. I just want to encourage you to inspect your own life. I want to encourage you to look at what you've been doing, and if it passes that test, right? If you have been if the movements that you've been making have been ethically correct, then this is not for you. Because these cards to me look like this is someone who there isn't something that's being done to them. So be careful if you're trying to pass yourself off as the victim, because I don't see a lot of other energies here apart from your own. Let's look at these two really quick. Seven of Swords, which is here twice. Plans that need revision, more going on than meets the eye, and poor timing. I'm hearing shit show, and there's something that you've been obsessing over. There's something that you've been trying to control, maybe even try to manipulate to get to go your way, and this looks like something is going to blow up. An unwise choice. Learn what you can from this situation and review everyone's motives. So yes, you should review everyone's motives here, but your own, I think are really important here. If there's something that you've been hiding, it's coming out. If there's something that you've been hiding, it is coming out. It is going to be known. That day is right around the corner if it isn't already happening, or if today is not that day. And I think that for a time, you've been able to balance things. You've been able to keep things afloat. But there is a kind of rapture that's happening here. Hearts are being placed on the scale. And your deeds, what you have been doing, is going to determine how you make it through this. Now, we spoke quite a bit about healing. We spoke quite a bit about some healing that needs to happen here, and about vulnerability, and about a willingness to be vulnerable, willingness to be open, a willingness to be honest. And that is all here, and that is your choice to make. I'm being reminded of a reading that I did for you a while back. There are echoes in this one where it's like, yeah, you may be judged by the powers that be. Your actions may be scrutinized. But people always appreciate integrity, and I don't think that it's ever too late to tell the truth. It's never too late to come clean. It's never too late to take responsibility or to take accountability if it is yours to take. For some of you, that's a part of the healing process, and I know that this might be really difficult to listen to. But there's someone out there that needs to hear this. And we don't all have people in our lives who are going to have these kinds of conversations with us and tell us when we're going down the wrong path. And I may lose subscribers over this. There are some who may dislike this video because of this, because they don't like the message, but I'm challenging you to see this as a kind of love. I'm challenging you to see this as a kind of care that, I'm willing to be that person in your life who's going to tell you when I think that you could be doing better. I think that you're better than this. I think that you know better than this. There's something that maybe you've been trying to do on your own or handle on your own, or if you're seeking assistance, I don't think that you're seeking assistance in the right places. People are not giving you the best advice. They're giving you advice through their lens or through the way that they think that you should do things. I'm being reminded of so Lauryn Hill, she has a song called Zion, and there are some lines in the song where that say, unsure of what the balance held, I touch my belly overwhelmed by what I have been chosen to perform. But then an angel came one day, told me to kneel down and pray, for unto me a man-child would be born. She goes on to speak in that song about how when she got pregnant and it was early on in her career, there are so many people who told her, look at your career, look at the life that you can have. Now is not the time to be having a child. And the decision that she made was to have that child. And that child has turned out to be the joy and the love of her life. So sometimes you can't always listen to people. You can't always listen to, really take the time to figure out what their motives are. What do they want from you? In that particular situation, they had a money mindset, right? They wanted her to take advantage of this time in her life, and they saw, child rearing and motherhood as something that could have been a handicap. And she's someone who has gone on to achieve success and fame by following her heart and by following God. And you may not be the type to follow God. Christ may not be your savior. And I'm not going to impose that on you. It's a relationship that's very personal and one that you have to choose to take up on your own. It may be your heart, it may be your intuition that you choose to follow. Those of you who do believe in God are familiar with the scripture that says that you shouldn't lean on your own understanding, that you should look to God, seek to be more like Him. And when we get to talking about that particular approach and what it means to have a Christ-like mindset, is that you're doing things from an ethically sound place. You're doing things for the right reasons. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Are you doing things for the right reasons? You have to do things for the right reasons. You have to always tell the truth. And when you're doing that, you don't need to keep track of the lies. You don't need to defend yourself as often. Maybe even at all. You don't have to defend yourself at all. But when you allow people to direct your steps, and you allow opportunists into your space, they will lead you down the path of destruction and lead you further and further away from the path of light. This was your read. I love you. I love you. I love you. Please take this reading and understand that the things I said to you were said to you from a place of love. I hope that it helps you, and I encourage you to like this read if it did, so that it can find others. I'll see you next time. Best of luck with this energy.